There's also a big conspiracy movement around Princess Diana's death and this white Fiat Uno that was seen at the scene of the crime, and like, who was driving that? Who was that? And for there to be the same
Yes.
car during the making of Eyes Wide Shut.
Well, it sounds like a very ludicrous stare.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit silly.
But I will say that, I certainly am saying there was any link, but it's a creepy coincidence.
They're like, they've only got one car. Like, only one of them drives. And he's like, sorry, you're the one that drives. You got to be the guy that chases. You got to kill Princess Diana, and you got to go chase around the guys who are making Eyes Wide Shut, okay? He's like, some of you guys got to get your licenses, okay? Fine, I'll do it this time. Hey, it's the Goblin Queen. Guys, definitely check out this Mothman, the film that never was documentary. It's only $5 for the subscription to the Commendable Commotion substack, and you get not only this documentary, but like everything else that you've been posting. You've got all kinds of stuff on here. I would love to hear a little bit, if you don't mind, about your sort of research into Stanley Kubrick and the making of Eyes Wide Shut, and like maybe some of the interesting things you discovered about that process and the intentions behind that film.
Yeah, so I mean, that film has always fascinated me for some reason. Eyes Wide Shut. It's personally my favorite Stanley Kubrick film. I don't know why. Yeah, just the atmosphere is. Do you have any favorite film of his yourself?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, I love Dr. Strangelove. I love 2001. But I mean, yeah, Eyes Wide Shut, I like it. I like it a lot. It's a great movie, but I wouldn't call it my favorite. But that's an interesting choice. But I think it's maybe one of Tom Cruise's best performances. It's like this and Magnolia.
Yes, it is one of those things that a lot of people didn't like it when it came out, but now a lot of people are beginning to like it more and more. So it really is a mysterious film. And then obviously, about the sort of the fact that it was Kubrick's last film. He didn't actually live to see it released in the cinemas, which was very sad. So anyway, I happened to be in Italy, and I traveled to meet his former personal assistant, a man named Emilio D'Alessandro. And it was great talking to him and his friend. Yeah, in Italy, in a place called Casino. But that wasn't a casino, as in like the sort of thing we've been talking about earlier. Yeah. So it was great talking to him, and he told me some interesting things about the making of Eyes Wide Shut. Very weird things actually quite similar to the Lost Mothman film discussed in my documentary. You can listen to that on my Substack as well, or on my YouTube channel, Commendable Commotion. You can hear me talk about what Emilio told me. To give people a bit of a hint as to what happened, essentially, Emilio told me that, let's see, what was one of the things he told me? Well, they were being followed during the making of Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, they were getting threats and intimidation and stuff. You were saying,
if they were
direct threats, but like people were.
I mean, they were
the same car was following them and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Someone in a white Fiat Uno was constantly following Emilio when he was working for Stanley Kubrick on the film, and this white Fiat Uno would turn up on the set of Eyes Wide Shut, and Emilio talked about this to Stanley Kubrick, and Kubrick advised him to, take all precautions necessary, things like that. And certainly, it's interesting. I don't know what exactly this car was there for, but one of the things that I did read an excerpt from a book written by an ex-Scientologist who said that the Scientologists a couple of them were sent out to England to stalk Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, allegedly, because they were worried that Cruise was having second thoughts, potentially, about being a Scientologist. So, I don't know, was this Fiat Uno anything to do with that? But a lot of things were happening making of that film.
Is that Scientology sort of they're sort of, I don't know, they have some weird tactics, some kind of mob like stuff that they do to their members, but I don't know. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's interesting.
It's very strange. Strange things were happening during the production of that film, and I think that there's a lot to be explored about the making of Eyes Wide Shut, and you'll hear more of those anecdotes that Emilio told me in the little interview that's there.
Sorry, I was looking for it. I couldn't quite find it on your YouTube page, but what's the name of it?
It's just near the top there. It's called Stanley Kubrick.
There we go.
Muhammad Fayed and the Death of Prince Diana. You're probably wondering why.
The funny thing about the white Fiat Uno, right?
Yeah, exactly. And certainly Emilio wasn't jumping to any conclusions, and neither am I hope. But it was a weird coincidence. This was all happening about maybe a month or two after Princess Diana died. Princess Diana was rumored to, I think, be engaged, was it? I'm not too familiar with the story, with the son of someone named Mohammed Al Fayed.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's you'll hear about this in the interview there. I know it was on an episode of The Farm by Steven Snyder, so you can find it on his podcast as well. It was kind of a joint release, so either check out The Farm or check out Commendable Commotion, and your listeners will be able to hear what Emilio D'Alessandro told me. Very weird stuff during the making of Kubrick's final film. Very strange stuff.
Yeah, it's a really really interesting interview. But yeah, the white Fiat Uno that was following them around a month after Princess Diana died. There's also a big kind of conspiracy movement around Princess Diana's death and this white Fiat Uno that was seen at the scene of the crime, and like, who was driving that? Who was that? Like, were they involved? What, something along those lines. And for there to be the same car during the making of Eyes Wide Shut.
Well, it sounds like a very ludicrous stare.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit silly.
But I will say that, I certainly am not saying there was any link, but it's a creepy coincidence, and
it's like these
people
elites
will find
that control the world. They're like, they've only got one car. Like, only one of them drives. And he's like, sorry, you're the one that drives. You got to be the guy that chases. You got to kill Princess Diana, and you got to go chase around the guys who were making Eyes Wide Shut. Okay. He's like, some of you guys got to get your licenses. Okay. Fine, I'll do it this time.
I don't know how strapped for cash these people were, but anyway, what if I told you that Mohammed Al Fayed, so Princess Diana's sort of would-be father-in-law, some would say, someone in Kubrick's family or a friend of Kubrick's family said she was treated very badly by Mohammed Al Fayed, and so that's why Mohammed Al Fayed was beginning to have concerns about Stanley Kubrick and what he may have known.
Interesting.
That much has been documented. And that much has been documented.
I mean, it's not very hard to believe that he treated somebody badly. Like, this guy was like a sort of like an abusive monster, right?
Yeah, that's apparently what has come out now that he's deceased. And these stories were coming out even before he was deceased, but he was very, very litigious, and he had the money to be litigious. He was very, very litigious. People were afraid. And when he died, even more of these stories came out, a whole flood of them. Quite a shady character, Mohammed Al Fayed, and someone in Kubrick's family. A friend of Kubrick and the family. Apparently was someone who may have been abused by Mohammed Al Fayed. And so Al Fayed was concerned what Kubrick knew. Was from what I've been told, and he was concerned that Kubrick was maybe going to point towards him in some way in Eyes Wide Shut. Now, look, I don't know, was Kubrick going to do that or not, but Mohammed Al Fayed was quite a paranoid individual.
And a very powerful man.
And a very powerful man. So, that's the story anyway.
It's sort of like the Catch and Kill book by Ronan Farrow. Have you read that?
I've never actually read that, but you've reminded me.
You would love it. It's right up your alley. It's all about like entertainment industry and like, true crime. It's a real kind of confluence of those two areas, and the way that powerful people. It's mostly about, what's his name, Harvey Weinstein, but it's it also gets into like other powerful men. Donald Trump is mentioned in there, and he uses these same networks. And the way they use this sort of like mercenary company called Black Cube that's run by a bunch of former Israeli Mossad guys to like stalk and harass and frighten people into, like, journalists into dropping stories, witnesses or like victims of crimes to like not speak to journalists. Like they do all this shady kind of like, secret kind of stuff behind the scenes. It's interesting. I mean, it's extra interesting to have a sort of conspiracy like this involved with Eyes Wide Shut, like, especially in light of, like, I guess, like you said, at the time, I don't think it was, people were like, what is this, like, fantastical thing? You really think that the very rich have depraved sex parties with each other? You really think that, or whatever? And now it's like, what? The only thing you get when you watch Eyes Wide Shut, like when I've watched it recently, in like the last few years anyway, I've been like, this is like so tame. Like, it's like they're like at these parties, they're all wearing masks. It's like they can't even like kiss or like eat each other out or anything. It's just like, this is like very fucking like PG elite billionaire orgies, I gotta say. Like, you got like a pianist.
I was told by someone who worked on the film that there were scenes that were removed, but again, this person who told me...
that's so interesting.
I don't know what scenes this person meant specifically, but it was implied that it may have been because, they were more extreme than what we've shown in the film. I do have some shots, nothing, sort of weird or extreme or anything, just some shots of Tom Cruise trying on a mask. That was it was a shot that was unused from the film. I got hold of that shot very kindly from the archive, but I need permission to publish it. So I'm trying to get that permission from the Kubrick estate. Certainly, I'm not saying there's any link between Princess Diana's death and Eyes Wide Shut verifiably, but I think it's an interesting confluence of events, and it tells a very interesting story of what was happening in the 90s and entertainment culture back in those days, So yeah, I'd encourage people to check that out. I don't know what was really going on, but it was weird stuff, and it's an interesting story. Cool. Muhammad Al-Fayed versus Stanley Kubrick. Muhammad Al-Fayed versus Kubrick. So it's quite a story.
It is quite a story. That is really interesting. And I mean, like, regardless if it was Muhammad Al-Fayed or if it was somebody else, like, it's just interesting that happens to occur during the making of this particular film. Yeah. Like, do we know much about what Kubrick's like intention was with this movie? Like, what was he trying to expose something? Did he ever get a chance to kind of like talk about this? Or
so Tony Zierra, who's a film director, he made a documentary about the making of Eyes Wide Shut. It's called SK-13, Kubrick's Endgame, I think is the title. He was told, Tony Zierra was told while making his film that, as I said earlier, that Muhammad Al-Fayed was worried about being exposed in Eyes Wide Shut. So,
okay, Muhammad Al-Fayed.
Make of that what you will. Whether Kubrick was really going to do that, I don't know. But that was what Muhammad Al-Fayed was worried about. As I said, he was quite a paranoid individual. Now, I talked to Tony Zierra, and he expanded on that and told me where he heard that kind of thing. That's what led me to meet Emilio D'Alessandro in Italy.
Oh, interesting. And, cool, man.
Yeah.
So you really do a lot of traveling for your work. You're like, okay, I gotta go to Italy. I gotta go to West Virginia. I gotta go here.
I on both occasions, I just happened to be there. On one occasion, I remember I was doing a conference that was fully subsidized by the university that I'm in, which was great. So I happened to be there, did some filming. Not of the conference, but for the documentary I'm making. So sometimes the stars align,
Cool. SK-13, Kubrick's Endgame. Yep, that looks interesting. Got the little Illuminati triangle on the cover there.
Well, don't be fooled by the poster. It's a very sort of evidence-based documentary, really. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
He's a good researcher, Tony Zierra. He's a good researcher. But so that's. I'd encourage people to watch that as well as Mothman, the film that never was, and it's quite a trip. I think people will enjoy it. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes, definitely, guys. Got to check out the Substack. I'll throw that link in there one more time. Again, only $5 hairs. So Matthew, it's been great chatting with you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for reaching out, and happy to have you on here. Really enjoyed your documentary. Very much recommend it to my audience here and anyone. Anything else that you want to say or plug or mention before we head out?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I know there was a delay on my part as well, so I'm very grateful for you accommodating.
No worries, man. It's a big day for you. You got your official public premiere,
and I've got an exam tomorrow in the master's degree of course, so it's busy. It's busy, but it's going well.
You're in school right now too?
Well, I'm in college, yeah. So it's got a lot of stuff, Oh, geez, but all I'd say is I'd encourage people to subscribe to Commendable Commotion on Substack just for $5 a month, and they'll be able to see this documentary, all of it, and it'll lead them down a lot of rabbit holes, but very evidence-based. This documentary is, so people. This is
not a crazy, like, out there, late night History Channel ancient aliens like documentary or something like that. It's very, very grounded in reality and documentary evidence and interviews with people who were there, and very, very cool. Very cool stuff. I've been trying to figure out how pilled you are this whole interview, and it's you've really got it. You've got a good, like, well, I would never say anything.
No,
you can check out this other guy that said something, but I would never personally. I would never say.
No, Yeah, we got to be careful, but
No, I
genuinely,
respect. I
like,
respect it.
it's yeah. Genuinely, it's part of the fun of doing this project has been trying to see what evidence there is for the stuff that people said to me about what was going on in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. That
Interesting.
was
Yeah.
part of the fun of it. So yeah. As you probably find yourself when making your videos, and it's always when you find something that's of great use to you, research wise, it's always a great feeling. So definitely it was a
Oh
great
yeah.
experience making this. So yeah, thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem at all, dude. Anytime. And excited to hear about some of the other projects you're working on in the future. You said you've got some other stuff in the pipe. Can you give us like a tease of maybe about the next thing you've got, next thing you might be putting out?
Well, there is another documentary that I'm pleased to say will be of a similar format to this Mothman film that never was documentary. I'll just say for now that this next documentary is about the world's most watched unaired television production, some would say.
Ooh,
And it was filmed in a
intriguing.
little place called, yeah. Do you know where it was filmed? It was filmed in Omaha, Nebraska. So that might give people an idea of what it is, but people could look out for that. And there's plenty of stuff over on Commendable Commotion, the
There's a whole
podcast
commotion of
series.
stuff.
Yeah, we have plenty of commotion stuff. Now there's the Panic in Bethel Park, which is a little true crime podcast series that's on my Substack, and episode 1 of that is out. It's about the personal background of Thomas Crooks. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah, yeah. The shooter.
The shooter, yeah, exactly. Who, some would say we don't know much about, and this podcast I made really kind of gives some new details about his family background.
Oh,
Very,
cool.
very intriguing things. Very intriguing things about his background. So people can see that on Commendable Commotion too. That's free. That's all for free. So yeah, that's what I've got coming. Episode 2 of that will be coming out soon. The Panic in Bethel Park, episode 2. So soon.
Awesome. Great, man. Well, thank you so much.